content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goals that you're striving for, not in the way you reach them.
You are now listening to Musings Behind The Creative. What's your passion? Hi, and welcome to another episode of Musings Behind The Creative. I am your host, Renata Dixon-Nwosu, and on today's episode we get to meet a young lady called Halima, and she talks about her experience as an undergraduate student within the School of Architecture. And for me, it was very interesting to hear her story because there's a lot of similarities in how or what I experienced during my academic progression in architecture. And it was quite interesting to see those parallels and actually be able to start thinking, wow, okay, so I'm not crazy, which is interesting to say, but you know, a lot of the experiences I tend to say to people that like the black experience is not necessarily lived in. It's seen from the outside in. So when you know what the parameters of your black experience is, and then, you know, you want to be at the peak of your career, but you find that actually you have to operate in a particular type of way, or, you know, you're not at the point where you're like 100% like comfortable to just be you all the way, because you really haven't gotten to that point. And there'll be things that you'll experience, and, you know, Halima will go into some of the things she experienced. And, you know, you always have choices to make, and it's always a thing of, should I say something? Is it worth me saying anything? How is this going to impact what I'm trying to achieve? And sometimes you end up not saying things. And, you know, I guess you just pick your battles at the end of the day. But if you have any comments that you'd like to give us some feedback, tell us your thoughts, you can follow Musings Behind The Creative on Studio RDN-x on Instagram, and you can follow me, Renata Dixon-Nwosu, at Loma Medici. Welcome to another weekly dose of Musings Behind The Creative. I am here with one of my good friends, and we happen to work together. But what I wanted to literally ask her is, as a woman of Black African heritage, would you know what? Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Halima. I am originally from Tanzania, and I just graduated from university.
Okay, so how was your experience studying architecture as a black female?
I would say in the beginning, I always tried to ignore the fact that anyone would deny me of my education,
right,
in a way,
right,
because of my color,
right.
And I tried so hard to find reasons not to use it as an excuse, but it wasn't an excuse, it was reality,
right.
And that hit me when, actually my first year, when my work, during a mid-year, we have like a mid-year review, which basically shows you the mark, predicted grade that you're going to get. And thank God I managed to get a 70, which is a first.
Yeah, of course.
And this was marked not only by students, it was marked by external examiners and people in practice. And then my final grade was 69. And this happened to almost like 5 of us, all of us being black.
So they lowered the grade across the board, which impacted all the black students.
Which makes no sense at all, because half the year we had half the work.
Right.
And that was already marked.
Right, with the predicted. Right. Okay.
And we did like continuous improvement, do more work, and if you're gonna give us a mark, like it's 1 mark of a first. Does that make sense? Anyway, so yeah, that's when it kind of hit us. But we're like, it'll get better.
Did it get better?
No.
It didn't get better?
No. I got to 3rd year. 2nd year, same thing happened. You know, you get disappointed, you cry. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, there always is, but there's nothing that we personally thought we could. It's just like us crying to each other, like, why? Is it because I'm black? And then 3rd year now, that's when we decided, okay, we're drawing a line. We're not going to fight with anyone, but we're going to teach ourselves, because if we don't, we're not going to get the grades that we want to.
So was it a fact that you say teach yourself, and I know exactly where you're coming from, because I literally kind of taught myself like 7 different CAD programs.
Yeah, basically.
To just make sure that I was up to scratch.
Yeah.
And even though like you get the tutorials in class, or the modules in class, do you feel that you're prepped enough?
No, because there's, especially like in design, teachers generally, there's stuff out of the tutorials or skills that they could help, like stuff they could help you with after, which they did help other students with, or give them tips, or like call them aside, even on a day that's not a design day. So you see, with us, it's like, it was after the tutorial, and it got to a point where actually the way I got my job was because I presented on behalf of the school. But my teacher did not want to put me out there. Even though my marks, my portfolio, my overall grades, performance, everything was much better than like all other students. He wanted to put forward a student that he preferred, and a student that he's on, that he gives tips and stuff and etc. But then he didn't want to put me forward, and I didn't mind because I'm shy anyway. But then someone higher had to step up, because they came and they were like, no, we want her to do it. So if that didn't happen, I probably would be jobless right now. But yeah, so it's like he had no other reason not to choose me. But he did. And stuff like that, basically. It really disheartened. I've had a teacher tell me, working hard is not gonna get you anywhere. And I was just like, what? I actually had a teacher tell me, you know what, this is why you black people don't succeed. I'm not even joking.
He said this is why you black people don't succeed.
Yeah. I'm not even joking.
Okay, what was the rest of it? Was that a statement?
Yeah,
or?
Because basically this was the first year where I don't know, they don't really understand. I think these teachers go to like schools like UCL and etc., where many people who go to these schools are like economically they're stable. They don't have a lot of, things going on there. When we come to UL, like East London, like everyone is messed up. Yeah, and architecture is like one of the worst courses to be in if you have a lot going on. So attendances go low, people are like, not okay. They're not, in the first place, they're not getting the attention they're supposed to, and when they slack, they're seen as bad students, or you people are always like that, labeled, and so they drag behind more and more and more and more. And then, it doesn't help. So there was once where a teacher was like, because was explaining to me, why are people coming in, and then he was like, this is why you people don't succeed. And I'm like, you don't know, half of it had, like, there was one that had drug addiction. There's some couple of them that had like abuse at home. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So they had family stuff, cultural stuff.
Yeah, and you're not helping either
by adding the additional stress.
And you're not doing your job, because when it comes to them, like even their tutorials, actually there was a point where even their tutorials, they would come back from their tutorial and they'd be so happy, like, oh my god, yeah, they love my work, and you're like, hold on a minute, like,
you ain't done no work for half the year. How they like
you have 2 pages for the whole year, but they've been giving you feedback every time you go. and they're hyping you up. Why? Because they're too lazy or they're too unbothered to actually teach you. And then there's the two of us who are getting like criticized every 2 seconds, but we're working. You're not working. You come back and you're happy after every tutorial. Like, what's going on? What's happening? Does that make sense? But there was a lot. My mom did warn me.
Also, did your mom school here or in Tanzania?
Yes, no, my mom schooled in Tanzania, got a scholarship, came here, went to UCL, did architecture, absolutely hated it. She was like...
So that would have been, your mom studied when? Give me the years.
1990, like 94.
95, 94, okay.
Yeah, kind of. She was like, they didn't even give her free textbooks.
I'm dead.
Yeah, it's funny when you talk about it, but it's sad because it actually affects. There was only like a few of us that managed to make it to the end, sadly. Literally like 2-3 of us.
I think the percentages for architects of black heritage that actually end up qualifying is less than, it's probably like 1%.
0.5.
0.5. And of the 0.5, how many of them are male and female? It's nuts. Like, it has literally taken me 10 academic years to get to this point. Jumping through hoops, the stress is real. I think my first degree, I damn near dropped out on third year. And I had one decent tutor that literally was just like, listen, I know it's a lot, but he pushed me and he supported. I felt supported. But then when I did my second and third year, because I think I did it half and half because I failed half the modules because I was ready to drop out. So he, when I did my third year, summer second year modules and summer third year modules, I had a teacher at the end pull me aside and was like, they didn't like the way you designed. So, pure architecture in inverted commas, you start with plan and then you go to elevation. But I started designing the facade and then worked into the elevation. So she basically told me it's just not their way of working, and actually they had an argument about it in the closed rooms, but she felt the need to let me know that I actually did do good, because all of these things will mindfuck you. Like, you start thinking, I'm not good enough. Like, what have I got to do to get these grades? And it's just like, is it my language? Is it my technical ability? And nothing's necessarily pinned down to say, this is the problem. But the continuous, like, you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you're not doing this.
Other people that are not your college don't really get.
No.
It's horrible. I had 2 best friends of mine, started off in year 1 together, and it's funny because in the beginning I didn't make friends with them because they didn't really get much attention, and teachers literally just forgot about them. And they took that then as a hint to, like, you don't belong here. So they didn't have any reason to, like, skip classes, but they'll just do it because they feel uncomfortable being viewed as, the way they're viewed in class, and being like, it's like disrespect to an extent, right?
Oh, it is.
So they will just, like, find somewhere to be during lecture, and they started dropping out, and they never finished. But I remember that it got to a point where I had to change friendship groups, and then to people that are not of my, like, not of black people, because they had all the resources, they knew everything, they had all the support, so I had to be around that myself and take it back.
So you actively put yourself in that position, right?
Because everyone else was falling behind, and there was no point of me fighting at that time. I was just like, going along, but then it was sad because the people who were, like, slacking behind, they had, like, in terms of skills and talent and the design flair, like, everything, I would say even 5 times better than mine. Like, these people would make extremely talented, like, make a model, you'll be like, is that like 3D printing? Is that laser card? They sketch something, it's amazing. And then once I'm still learning the skills, they have it. At first year, everything Photoshop, Rhino, so they're like fully equipped to stay in the. So it's not like they're not like good enough, because they definitely are, and the teachers definitely. But it's so easy for them to just look past that.
So do you think the teachers are aware of what happens?
I'm pretty sure. I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure if all of them do it consciously or subconsciously, but it happens. So at the end of the day, like, I don't know, did they do it? And it's really, really sad.
So with that being your experience, how do you feel about going into doing your part 2?
Sticky ones. Because I'm planning to go to schools that are like higher in ranking.
No, you have to.
So, which definitely means I'm gonna face much more of that. Like the schools that I'm looking at. I went to open mornings, and the people that I found, yeah, they're not me. They're not my people. So I'm definitely gonna be sticking out. So I know, the thing is, I don't know if it's bad that I'm prepared for it, because I've been through it.
I think you have to be, because it's actually quite worse when you're not prepared.
Exactly. Because that's what I went through in first year, and I used to cry every 2 days. Like, I would just call my mom, like, because I'm in a country alone, and I'm a person that tried like an absolute best, and it's like, this is something I can't change about myself.
Yeah,
I can't. It's like, is it the only reason that you guys are treating me like this? It's like, I don't understand. So I was really like depressed the first year. Like, everyone told me that. The second year, everyone's like, oh, you're a different person. Why? Because I accepted it, and now I'm fighting against it, but in my own way. Like,
so do you think it's about accept, and it even makes me uncomfortable to say it, like,
I know.
Accepting the allotted position that you've been given with.
I feel like the fact that we're still in, and we're making our way up there, by itself is a form of rebellion. Does that make sense? Because we were not expected to reach this far.
Oh, hell no.
So sometimes small quiet moves like that could speak louder than actually fighting with every teacher that's going to attack you. So that's my way of, I want to put our people out there. I want to like succeed and be on the papers and all of that. Not because I want to.
No, but because visibility
I know,
is key.
exactly.
Because I remember when I was looking for jobs,
because I needed that.
Yeah. I'd look at the websites, and I'd look at the profiles, and if I never saw no black people there, I won't apply it.
Do you know how happy I was when I saw you in the firm? I was like, I must have told all my friends. Because it's like, yes, you know, we're in this together. It gives reassurance, you know? So we need to do that for other people. So it's sad, but we have to work with what we have. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having this very quick conversation with me. This was Musings Behind The Creative, and we were just talking to Halima. And we'll catch you at another weekly showing or listening.